Well, good evening, friends. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I know I'm a couple of minutes early than scheduled, but hey, you can never get too much of me, right? So we're going to give it some time and let people pile in here before we get too into any deep topic. But I do want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Subscribing to the channel, liking the channel, being part of our pack, so to speak. We appreciate that. And Meme is in the house. Hello from Potato Land. Well, how are things in Potato Land, Meme? It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Oh, man. I hope you had a great holiday. Thank you for the thumbs up there, sir. Appreciate that very much. So it is. We're getting ready to have a winter storm come in this weekend. When they predict winter storms for this part of the country, it's always kind of iffy. We're definitely going to get some cold weather. The history about Potato Land is about the Turks. Well, how do you feel about that? You think that's appropriate? Or do you think it's a misservice? I'll show you guys the fish tank tonight. Let you guys look at the fish a little bit instead of my beautiful beard. So, do you think that's fair? Do you think it's good? They say the Germans are eating so much potatoes. Well, Americans eat a lot of potatoes, let me tell you, buddy. I don't know about Germans, but I know Americans. Man, we eat potatoes like nobody's business. And I mean, we eat potatoes in all kinds of different ways, shapes, and forms. Let's see here. We have somebody else coming in. Nice hat. Thank you, thank you. Do you kiss men on the lips? Look, what I'm going to tell you, because I know where you're going with that. It's okay with us if you're gay. We don't mind. We don't have a problem with you being gay. We don't have any problem with who anybody sleeps with. So if that's your question, that's our answer. Welcome in. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for being here. And on our channel, you can be who you are. BWG says hello from you. All right. Cruz Hansen, I do. Nice. Cruz, I do. I'm happy for you. Somebody else came in. We're going to call him E. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, liking this live stream, sharing us out with all of your friends and colleagues throughout the world. We appreciate that. That's what our good friend Meme from the Potato Land does. Anil says hello. Thank you for being here. NL, thank you for being here. Appreciate all the thumbs up. We got 30 people watching us already, so some of you kind people come up and say hello and drop a chat and give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Filipino Bai in the province is in the house. Hello to you. Good morning. Good. Happy New Year to you too. We had a great one. We're looking forward to a good next year. I know we're going to have a couple rough spots, I think. I'm predicting we're going to have some very bad days in our life this year, but we're trying to prepare for that. Cruz says L, nice, okay. If you want to throw out more letters than L, that's fine. You're so nice, thank you. I try to be nice. I don't think there's any reason not to be nice. Do I like Trump? I like everybody, man. Yes, I like Trump. I like everybody. Zachary is in the house, giving an L. So thank you for the L's. I guess that means like and love and support and kindness. We appreciate all of that for me and my doggies. So we hope everybody's doing great today. You guys got any great big plans for your next year coming up? Man, we hope to get some plans going, but we just don't know. Please remember, I don't wish everyone a new year because I don't celebrate it. That's right. Mame doesn't care if you guys have a good new year or not because he's not worried about that. I think they're right, Meme. Cruz, do you like the LGBTQ community? I think everybody, it's not I don't think it matters whether I like them or dislike them. I think everybody has rights, at least in America, to do whatever they want to do as long as they don't harm children. So I don't really care what anybody does or who they sleep with or who they don't sleep with. What do you think about Russia like a country? Well, I almost got to go to Russia one time years ago when I was still teaching. There was a group of college professors from around the country who was going to make a trip there and share educational concepts, but it fell through at the last minute. I don't have a problem with Russia as a country. I think it's too damn cold. And I've tried borscht, which I found very, but I have no problem with Russia. But they are harming children, though. Well, I think what you might be referring to is that they're shaping the minds of children. And I do have opinions about that. I don't think anybody should negatively or I think we ought to let children become children and be children. We need to let children grow up to be adults and let them make up their own minds. I don't like any group that targets, whether it's smokers, race, food, sugar, who you sleep with. I don't care your politics. I don't like it when people put kids in pro Biden jerseys and pro Trump jerseys. I think that's wrong. I think kids have enough to worry about with school and just being kids that we ought to leave kids out of adult subject matters. That's where I'm at on that. And I don't care what subject it is. I think children ought to be left alone to be kids. So that's how I see it. And I don't really care who you sleep with. Borscht is very tasty. Well, it wasn't quite tasty to me, my friend, but I'll take your word for it. I know a lot of people like it. Dennis in the house. Wow, HTN Sugar Baby Bye was in the house. Yeah, she comes by right before she starts her live stream. And she pops in for a second to let everybody know that she's kind of live. So, but other than that, she doesn't seem to stick around too much anymore. So, but Dennis, yep, she came by, said good new year to everybody. Dennis, have you ever had borscht? Dennis has traveled the world a lot. Here in Germany, the potato forced dogs to get the what? What the hell are you saying? Here in Germany, the people forced dogs to get force dogs to get their opinion. What the hell are you talking about? Here in Germany, people force dogs to get their opinions? Dennis says, yes, I've had everything. I haven't had everything, but I've had a lot of different things. And I've had borscht once, and I found it very not good. But I could understand. One thing I've traveled enough, not like, I mean, Dennis travels a lot, but I've gotten to travel more than some. And here's one thing I know. The food that we grow up on, we always love. We always think it's good because that's what we grew up on. Part of it's environmental, part of it is psychological, and part of it may just be your taste buds are adapted biologically to that region. And that's everywhere in the world, everywhere, because I've traveled a lot and I've eaten some of their home foods and gone, oh my God, how in the hell can people eat this? The people use dogs to get the people's opinions. All right, that's kind of kooky. Meme, can I ask, how do they do it? I mean, how do they do it? Maybe that's a better question. I mean, I use my dogs to get people to like me, which I'm really stressed over right now. Oh, Jesus. My damn dog Daisy here. She's going back to the vet tomorrow. She's the one that's in heart failure. But there's something else going on. And every few days, Lorelai and I think we're on death watch. We think she's dying. Yesterday was no different. I mean, off and on throughout the day, we thought it was going to be her last moments, but today she's much better. I have no effing clue what's going on with my damn dog. And we are so stressed because, I mean, literally on death's door. She can't eat, tongue's hanging out, she's panting, she's breathing irregularly, she won't move. You know, I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if it's a bunch of heart attacks. I don't know what in the hell's going on with our dogs. Last night I made a woman, had a woman, oh, you had a woman here, and she make trouble about my fireworks. Oh my God. Well, you should have used protection with the fireworks. It's always best to be safe. The dog was 50 meters away, and she says that I barely shot the dog. Oh, so you almost shot somebody's dog, huh? With the firework that never came close. Well, now we're dog owners, as you know. So when fireworks happen around us, we isolate our dogs because there's no way that I could blame my neighbors, and I don't want to infringe upon their rights to have a good time by going out there saying, don't blow fireworks because it upsets my dogs. So we don't participate in fireworks. We shut up the house and we turn on the white noise machines so the dogs can't hear the fireworks. But we keep them inside and keep them protected. That's what we do because I feel as a pet owner, it's my responsibility to take care of my dogs, not to try to mess up what the neighbors are trying to do to have fun. It's like Kvass for me, it's a normal drink, but for my friends and others by the country, it's a terrible for the first time. Well, I would like to try that. I don't know if I've ever had that. Give me a second. I want to Google that because I don't know what that drink is. And one thing I try to do when I don't know a word, if I don't know what something else, I try to look it up. Let me look that up. Here in Germany, it's legal for 48 hours to shoot fireworks. Well, here in America, it's never illegal or illegal, depending on city or community or whatever. But well, I sure would like to have some of that. Sanders is in the house, my good friend Charles. How are you today, my friend? How are your doggies? How's the wife? Kvass is a fermented low alcohol beverage that originates in Eastern Europe and is popular in many countries. It's a fermented cereal-based low alcohol. I wonder if I could buy that in America. I'm going to Google it and see if I can find it in America. Whoops. Sanders, everybody say hello to our good friend Sanders. Thank you for being here and the thumbs up. And the Germans enjoyed the walk the dog and the time who's allowed to shoot. Yes. Well, that's kind of my point. Jamison Madison is here. Hey, thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. It's my responsibility to protect my dogs, not only from you, from my dogs biting you. Now, if you're on my property, that's a different story. But during fireworks time, I take care of my animals because I don't want them upset. So I look at it as my responsibility, not yours, not to make noise. That's how we do it. And a lot of people say we treat our dogs too good, that we baby them. But, I don't really give a shit. They're my dogs. Jasmine Madden's in the house. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. Jasmine. Everybody say hello to Jasmine and Meme and Sanders. So they walk the dog and makes a cluster F, I guess is what that means. So I understand your dilemma and your stress. I called the police and asked them what I can do to dismay any problems. Well, the police are going to, in America, the police is going to go, until there's a crime that has been committed, and unless you can prove it, then we don't care. Now, they will say, wait a minute, you're calling to ask questions. Is the bad person black? Well, then we can come out and do something about that. You know, race in America is an issue, and I don't like to talk about race on the channel, but it's just kind of a funny thing. Here, you always got, they always want to know what color the skin is, and then they will decide what they can or cannot do about it. Everyone is good, but I lost a cousin who helped raise me. Oh my goodness. I saw you were talking a little bit about that. We're sorry for that. Second mother to me on New Year's Day. I know that's a hard, Charles, I know that's a hard go when you lose somebody, definitely on a holiday that's so close to you. Because now for every New Year that happens, you always think of them a little bit, which gives you the opportunity to remember how good they were to you and how blessed you were that they were in your life. So every New Year now, you get to remember that fondly. I do that with my grandmother. My grandmother died on Christmas years ago. But every Christmas I think of her because she died on Christmas. You know what I mean? So, and I have found over the years, that's a good thing. I remember every Christmas, you know? Please says, I don't care, just do your thing. Well, that's good. That's good. The police probably just didn't want to deal with you. You know, they're probably, oh man, yeah, we got better things to do. You know, we got better things to do than to deal with you and your neighbors and your police dog, your dogs and the fireworks. But usually in America, we don't have any, like a time frame. There are a lot of ordinances against fireworks going off, but a lot of cities and counties and places disregard it on the 4th of July and New Year. So exactly, yeah, I know what you mean. But man, it's people can be crazy. You know, you can get a lot of Karens and Darrens out there. I don't know. Meme, I know you're overseas in the great country or the great lands of Europe. So do you guys have Karens and Darrens? Do you know what a Karen or a Darren is, what we refer to in America as? So, you know. Hey, Sanders, I know your mom didn't get to come down because of the snow blizzard, stormy thingy. Are you going to reschedule the visit with your mom and everybody? Joe said, yeah, we do. Nice. Okay, you know what Karens and Darrens are? Baller says, hello, boy. Well, hello back to you. You know, but you guys had the original. Yeah, we do. We have a lot of them. And as much as it's all over the internet, they still do it. I don't understand this. I mean, it's all over the internet, right? Even in our own community, we have a Facebook group that kind of supports our, announcements for the community that we live in. And when we first got here, man, we had some Karens and Darrens throwing shit out, and I kept telling people, don't be a Karen, don't be a Darren. You know, I said, it sounds like you're a Karen, sounds like you're a Darren. If you don't like this community, pack your shit and go somewhere else. 80% Karens there. It's in their nature, can't stop themselves. Man, I agree with you there. He says, for us, police not is not a problem. For them, the color of your skin isn't the reason to take you down by shooting you in your hat. Well, here it is. You know, we still have a huge race issue in America, just like many other countries. But, I can't hide the fact that it's not an issue. Baller says, 80, nice, thank you all for the thumbs up. Going to try to find out her medical appointments. Okay, good, Sanders. I think that's great. Hey, Bama Nolan's in the house. Thank you for coming in, Bama. We appreciate you. How are you feeling? Hope you're having a good start of the week, or it's Thursday. Lorelai just went back to work today. Today's her first day back after being off for the holiday. So it feels like it's Monday for me, but it's Thursday, so I'm kind of confused in my days. Or it's just the additives in the food. Do you know much about American food? Is not, well, it shouldn't be allowed. Look, You're not going to get any argument about me about American food. American food is the worst food in the world. I mean, it's horrible, 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 horrible. Just horrible. We've lived in the Philippines and we ate like pigs in the Philippines. We ate everything under the sun and lost weight. We come back to America, starting eating American food, and we gain 20 pounds. You know, American food is the worst thing. And I've been telling my international students for 35 years, don't eat American food while you're living here. Cook the food that you know from home. Don't eat our food. Or it's just, yeah, the food. Baller, it's the growth hormones, I agree, but it's also the food additives. It's the food additives are not good for us. Tried to drive 7-hour trip, went from southern Alabama to New Orleans, then north to Louisiana, 505 miles. So how did you do on your trip, Bama? I mean, you know, after your recent experience, how did you do health-wise? Are you doing, I mean, on your that's a long drive. Yeah, I saw that on YouTube too. But, and a lot of that's just food coloring. You know, we do put a lot of additives in food colorings, but we put a lot of chemical additives that are not necessary in American foods. American food is designed to get you addicted to buying it. And it's a real shame that America's become this, but it's the ungodly truth. You know, and it all started back in what, the 50s and the 60s with the cereal companies trying to convince us that one, we should eat sugary cereal every morning instead of fruit and protein. And then when they fortified bread and made it last on a shelf a lot longer, they convinced us it was healthy bread or Wonder Bread, right? And so we just eat and eat and eat and eat garbage. 100% of our Fanta is, yeah, it's a whole different color. Traffic had me stressed out. All right, I can understand that. Because, you know, even as I've gotten older, you know, I have a heart failure, kidney failure, lung issues myself. I've learned that there are times when I'm not feeling the best, you know, that it causes me grief. Lincoln's in the house. Hello, thank you for being here. Have you noticed the shrinkflation? Yes, every day. We see it every day. Absolutely. Craig Parrish, good morning, all from Australia. Thank you for being here, Craig. Thank you for the thumbs up. Yeah, shrinkflation is a very, very, very real thing in America. Germany tried to teach you, but only have half the knowledge of the street. If you try to teach them facts, they don't have time. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. One thing I will say about Americans, we are hard-headed. I know Germans are hard-headed because there's a lot of Americans that come from German ancestry and Italian and French and everywhere else in the world. But I think Americans have been trained to be hard-headed. We're brought up to be resistant. We are. Buttercup's in the house. I'm back. Do you remember me? Buttercup, I remember your name. I sure do. How are you? Thank you for thumbs upping. R&R Walks has a membership. 1 thumbs up from me. Thank you for that. R&R is in the house. Everybody say hello to R&R. He's one of our members. Dutch. Yeah, there's a lot of Dutch. So you just can't get an argument out of me about American food. It's just not great. And we all know it. It's too easy to do nothing about, though. That's an old age. Lincoln, I subscribe to you. Thank you, Lincoln. We appreciate that. I know you did. Thank you. Hello to everybody. R&R says hello. Ameem shouts out Holland. Yes, we're all from that part of the world. You know, all of us fat white people are all from that part of Europe, whether it's Russia, Ireland, Germany, Holland, Poland, Yugoslavia. Hell, we're all from that same part of the freaking world. Yeah, we like claiming places like it wasn't anyone else's. Yes. Yeah, why not? Holland looks pretty. I've never been there. I'd like to go and see the Tulip Festival, I guess. And they do have some Heineken's from Holland, so I enjoy their beer, right? Heineken's Holland. So I have not seen you do a live chat in a long time. Yeah, we've done a few. We've been busy with the Christmas. We did a live stream for Christmas and the Christmas party. We did some live streams about all the rice donations we made to the Philippines. Thanks to all of you members and subscribers and super chatters and people that donated money to our PayPal account. We were able to give away 350 pounds of rice in 3 different locations of the Philippines for New Year. So we've been busy with that. And then to be honest, we've been a little tired. We're a little stressed out about my dog Daisy and her health. So I haven't been on as much as normal, but I'm hoping to kind of get myself back into a groove. Finders, keepers, that's right. We'll take credit for anything. Me, my last time in Holland was in September. I love to invite you to Holland and Loveland Festival. All right, I'll go. Just send me a check. I'm poor. Tubes actually come from Turkey, but do make it look good in those fields, yes. Tulips came from Turkey. Huh. Do they grow in the mountains in Turkey then? Because I know they're a cool weather plant. So, and I don't know much about Turkey's geographical terrain. So I send you a ticket for that's great. Send one for the wife. Because, my wife won't let me travel without her, especially to go do fun things. I mean, if I got to travel to go have my eyes examined or go to the doctor, well, then maybe. But if there's going to be any fun involved, where do I think pasta comes from? It comes from a bag at Walmart. We get it at Walmart. I love your live streams, but I have to go. All right. Well, there's different types of pasta made from around the world out of different ingredients. So each geographical region had their own version of pasta. So there's, like vermicelli noodles made out of green beans in Asia, very popular. China made noodles way thousands of years ago. Japan the same. So, there's a lot of different places. Italian noodles are way different than Asian noodles. Would you be surprised they originated out? No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. No, not at all. We love Asian food. Yeah, when they did the silk stuff, yeah, the Silk Road, yeah, the silk trade, yeah, not surprising to me. I think a lot of countries can root back. I don't think there's very many things that are authentic anywhere. I thought the Ottoman Empire got them from Central Asia in 1000 AD, then imported to Europe in the 16th century. That could be, Craig. I haven't studied my Ottoman Empire in a while. It's probably been 15 years. So it could be. I know they brought a lot of trade goods from everywhere. Now, with the Silk Road trade or the silk trading, maybe it was more about consistent trading. But the Ottomans went everywhere, stole everything, and resold it to everybody else. Originated pasta is Hartschwinger Abe. I don't know what that is, my friend. But pasta comes in all kinds of different ways and forms. Originated from, okay. So the funny thing is I got a feeling we're going to have 5 or 6 people take claim and credit for pasta. If you ask the Italians, they're going to say, no, my ancestors invented it. If you ask the Chinese, they're going to say, well, we invented it. If you ask my dog Daisy is probably going to say, I didn't invent it, but I sure will eat it. That's life. Keeps it fun, I know. Somalia, they got their own version, right? Everybody has their own thing that they take wheat or grain, grind it up, and roll it into things. Whether it's a flat bread or like a chip, not like a potato chip, but more of a crispy flat bread, or there's also like the gummier breads. But pasta, I mean, who's going to take credit for fish? Are the Norwegians going to say, hey, we invented fish? Well, of course not. Are the Chinese or the Japanese going to say, well, we invented fish? So it's just about using your imagination and figuring out how to use the ingredients at your hand, you know. But I do like that. God, yeah, well, God invented everything, right? Jesus says, Craig. That's right. So, you know, around here, we're taught that Walmart invented everything. Everything's made at the grocery store. If you can't find it at Walmart, then you don't need it. There used to be a TV commercial back in the 80s by Walmart. Walmart had that commercial. If you can't find it at our supercenter, then you don't need it. And, part of that propaganda to convince us, hey, don't eat the stuff in your yard. That might be good for you. Come here and buy the tomato that was chemically treated. Peter Pan, I like peanut butter. So, yeah, it's got, because look, one thing I know about, and I don't know much, as Craig will tell you, Dennis will tell you, but here's some things I do know, everybody. There's only so many ingredients in a region, only so many, that are naturally found and easily resourceable in a region. And what we do is we take those 5 to 15, 20 ingredients and we figure out how to manipulate and change that into 100,000 different dishes. Started listening to the Bible for the first time and find it interesting and difficult to understand. All right. I broke my elbow last night, your elbow needle. Do I cry? Well, you can, you know how we are. My friend, if you want to cry, you cry. If you want to yell, you yell. If you want to scream, you scream. If you want to get some duct tape and wrap around that elbow and tough it out like us Americans do, then you just go right ahead. But I don't like elbow noodles, by the way. I'm not a big fan of macaroni. I don't like that. I like egg noodles and I like vermicelli noodles, but I'm not an elbow noodle boy. So, but in my world, you guys can do anything you want. As long as you don't try to make me do it, I don't care what you do. I think it's good for everybody. I mean, it's like Saudi Arabia, they eat camel. In America, you would never eat camel because we have no camels. Australia, I think they eat kangaroo, right, Craig? Well, we don't have any kangaroos in America, so we can't eat any. But by God, we would. I don't cry. I'm from the 80s. The 80s. You're not that. Well, I guess technically. No, you're not from the 80s, you liar. Pants on fire. So, big boys. Was it Big Girls Don't Cry from the 50s? You guys ever hear that song? Big girls don't cry. I don't know why, or there's no crying in baseball. But it's like in Spanish countries, we love Mexican food, Spanish food. But hell, there's probably not 10 different ingredients. 50 millions of the buggers. See, I'd be chopping them suckers down and eating them. Raise them like cows. At the Generation Z herds, they say, oh, I know. They heard it, I know. I don't know what am I. I don't think I'm generation anything. Teens nowadays can't even read time for a normal clock. I agree. They have trouble understanding. I can tell you a funny story from back in 87. Were you born back in 87? All right. So, hey, MJ's in the house. Let's do the Philippines. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for the thumbs up. How are you, man? How was your New Year? How was Christmas? I saw you got a Christmas gift. I saw you made a video about a Christmas gift you got. How are you? How are things going? So a funny story is this is only about 15 years ago, a buddy of mine who had a kid, his kid was 18 at the time, 19 at the time, or 16, I don't know, teenager kid still in high school. And they got in this old van because he had to make a delivery or go pick something up and borrowed an old person's van. Had no power windows. And the kid couldn't figure out how to roll down the windows because it had hand cranks on it. Mark Bill's in the house. Mark, good day. Good to see you. Hey, I saw you're short on Daisy. Well, Mark, I don't know, man. We feel like we're on death watch. Today she's doing better. Yesterday we thought she was going to be dead on two different occasions yesterday. We thought she was dying yesterday. It was a hard day. And I got to take her back to the vet tomorrow and talk to him again. I don't know what to do. I don't know if she's having heart attacks. I know she has heart failure. I don't know what in the hell is going on. And I know there's probably not a lot we can do. But she'll be like normal today. Right now, she's doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden, she will freeze up and lock up and be in so much pain that you can tell and won't be able to move. She won't eat. Her breathing's irregular, like she's going to freaking die. Her tongue starts to come out, and then in a few minutes later, she's not back to normal. But I don't know, Mark. I'm so freaking stressed over it. It's unbelievable. Let's do the Philippines says things are good. Excellent. Things are pretty good here too. Well, I agree with you. When the doctor says there's nothing else that we can do, and we trust our vet, we've known him for a long time, and we are prepared to make that decision. But I don't know if it's time to make that decision yet, because like today, she's perfectly normal with a dog that has heart condition. She's only 8 years old. So we don't know if she has like a pinched nerve also besides the heart. So we're going to talk to the vet tomorrow. And if we can put her on some maintenance pain meds, and that gives her a better quality of life, that's about all we're going to do. We can't do a whole lot more for her except for make her comfortable. But I think if we put her on like a gabapentin, it might make her feel well enough that she can have a good life for as long as that she's going to live. But I'm not going to prematurely put her down. But if she seems to have more bad days than good days, then that's a different story. I am shot out and go to the Tanksteller to buy new delicious German beer. All right. I think you should buy lots of good German beer or Irish beer or any beer that you like. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with Daisy. It's weird. Now, one thing I've learned is if she gets startled, this is why I think it might be a pinched nerve. If she gets startled, then all of a sudden she yelps and she's in pain. If Lily, our other dog, accidentally bumps into her, it's the same thing. If I accidentally bump into her, it's the same thing. So she tightens up, and I think she pinches a nerve. And when we had her on prednisone for 2 weeks, she did much better. She never had an episode over those 2 weeks. But we can't keep her on prednisone because that would destroy her liver and kidneys. So that's where I'm saying if I can get the vet to say, well, maybe we ought to put her on gabapentin and see if that can be long-term medicine. And then when she has her heart attack and gets there, then, that's kind of where we're at. Craig says, rain meme. Yes. Sheep do that as well. They lock up and freeze. Yeah, and that's kind of what she's doing. She's never did it until the last couple of months. But we found out that at one of our parties, 2 of our parties, we found that the little children were beating on her. And we caught them at it the second one. So we think she may have got roughed up by these little kids, which makes me pissed. Yeah, so I know what you mean. And so it's kind of like she does something and she almost like she pinches a nerve or pulls a muscle or something. So I just want to give her a chance, but I want to give her some drugs to make the pain go away and maybe control the anti-inflammatory or the inflammatory, and see how that goes. And if it doesn't do any good, then we'll address that when it happens. Meme is talking German to Craig because they're both German, even though Craig's Australian. Craig's, well, cannabis oil. Yeah, I've thought about that. I don't know how well it works in the dogs. I don't know how well it works in humans, even though I have a medical marijuana card. I never use it because all it seemed to do is put me to sleep. And I don't want to go to sleep unintentionally because I have this horrible fear of a coma. Because I was in a coma a few years back, and it was the worst time of my life. So, and we may do that. We may have to go with some little oil and give her something. But we'll go back to the vet tomorrow. We got to get her heart medicine refilled anyway. So I thought, let me take her in and get the vet to look at her and talk to him about this again and say, look, the prednisone worked, but once it was out of her system, she went back to being the way she was. So if the prednisone helped, then there has to be something else that we can put on her long term that might give her a better quality of life. So, and I know I get a lot of people tell me, oh, you know, it's just a dog. Well, it's not just a dog to us. You know, there are dogs, and they've been here for us, and Daisy especially. When I came out of my coma and had so many health issues during that time, actually took care of me, which is kind of funny because she has heart failure, I have heart failure. But when she was a puppy, she laid on my chest when I was recovering. So there could be some of this weird symbiotic thing where I gave her heart disease because she laid on my chest and took care of me when I was out of the coma and stuff. So, you know, I get some stuff from people going, you know, why your dog has this wrong and that wrong is because that's what you as the owner has wrong. So, but my English is a lot better. Yes. Well, we prefer English. But Meme just likes to show off that he's bilingual, that he's fancy. So, you know, it's just kind of weird, right? How animals take on our human traits, you know, is part of what a lot of people theorize and they believe. So, it's interesting, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with her, but we'll find out more information tomorrow. But I don't know. But we hope everybody's going to have a great New Year. And that's what I mean. I know for sure, Pat, everybody who's listening in the background, there's a really good chance Lorelai and I are going to have a really couple of bad events this year. If Daisy dies, which is a good chance she won't live the year, I'm just telling you, it's not going to be very pleasant for her and I. So, but what can you do, right? You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Well, come on, Meme. I don't show off. I just try to connect between the languages. See, that's what a show off would say. I'm not showing off that I'm bilingual. I'm just connecting between the languages. Come on. All I can do is barely speak English, and I don't do that very well. And I'm okay with that. I don't even know how to speak computer. Well, you guys have been very kind. We got 17 people giving us thumbs up already. Swedish. I don't do Swedish either. Oh, I like those Swedish fish. You know the little red Swedish fish candies? Man, those are good. And for all of you Swedish people, yes, I've had lutefisk, and no, I will never have it again. I just want to throw that out there. Yes, I've had lutefisk, and no, I will never have it again. Ever. Come on, I play oftentimes in Amsterdam, see? Come on, I play in Amsterdam. Ah, I've always thought I'd like to go to Amsterdam, but I don't know anymore. Me, I'm a DJ, you know. Yeah, he's a DJ. He's one of those rock star DJs. He's a YouTube DJ sensation. He's one of those name brand DJers. DJers? DJ? Are they DJers or DJ? You know, what are they? I play techno music and trance music. Now, that's a genre where everybody gets high on acid, right? I got friends in America that are into techno music. I find it okay. I don't want to listen to it forever, but I've gone to some techno clubs with friends and, and didn't find it horrible. But I'm still an old rock and roll guy, is what I am. But I always imagine it's the perfect stuff to drop acid to. That's what it reminds me of, because then you can interpret it. Because it seems like it's all interpretable. It's all left up to your interpretation. Tomorrowland? Yeah, Tomorrowland. But I'm not advocating you guys taking acid. So just understand that. I think you shouldn't do drugs. Drugs are bad for you, they say. Don't do anything that's bad for you or bad for others. Loveland, Tomorrowland. Don't do anything that's bad for you. That's my number one rule. Nature one. Yeah, mushrooms. Mayday. These are all types of acids, I'm assuming. I wouldn't know because I'm a good American boy. We don't do drugs in America. We don't do bad things in America. America is the land of the good, and that's all there is to it, you know? We just huff spray paint in America. So and the other thing, keyboard cleaner. I guess there's a thing where kids huff compressed air for your keyboards. Because when I go to Walmart to buy some, I got to go get a manager to unlock it out of a cabinet and sell it to me. So I thought that was kind of weird. Good thing is I don't need a can very often, maybe once every 4 or 5 years, but But you got to ask permission to get it. Fentanyl in America is an epidemic. Same thing with any other drugs coming across the border. And fentanyl is really bad. I mean, it's too strong, and it's bad news. I bet you, when I hear about and think about fentanyl, sometimes I think, I bet you the people that grew up in the 60s and the 70s who did a lot of coke and heroin and speed and all this other shit are going, and you thought we were bad. You thought we were bad in the 60s and the 70s, but you picked on us and you made fun at us, Yep, but I really go to any of those type of events because I'm an introvert. Nothing wrong with that. I'm an introvert. I just happen to have the extrovert switch. Never drink or take drugs, so it makes it difficult to be in the big crowd. I agree. If you're drunk or on drugs, it helps with not knowing your surroundings. I mean, it helps with blurring things out. And we don't do that either, to be honest. We're not into drugs. We drink a little bit, but we're not into that. I can't tell you the last time, God, we've been drunk. I couldn't tell you. Man, I really couldn't tell you. Maybe on a cruise ship when I didn't have to drive anywhere, I probably had a few martinis. But other than that, I couldn't really tell you. Fentanyl creates money for the black ops. I agree. I agree. Money for the black ops. You know, it's a big business for somebody, Craig. And it's just not for the cartels. So there's a whole lot more going on in the world of fentanyl than we know. I play on these festivals. I don't, it doesn't, can I enjoy drugs because I'm at work? All right, well, we understand that, you know, at least until the night wears down a little bit. If you ask my doctors, I take drugs every day because I have to sign a form every time I pick them up. And it's categorized as a fentanyl, I think. Wow. Well, I take drugs every day too. I don't take any scheduled narcotics, but I take drugs every day, obviously. In America, we have what we call like Schedule 4 narcotics, which is like, crap, now I can't think. Oxycontin, stuff like that, which is highly regulated now. You know, we have a big epidemic of it here back in the 2000s. That's my job. I have to stay clear. Plus, meme, I know what you mean. Because if you're at a big festival where everybody's high and stoned having a good time and you're sober, that means you can root out the prettiest girls. I know what you're thinking. I know where you're going with that. Yeah, it's my job. But I know what you're really doing over there. Not all DJs stay clean during sets. No. Hell, in America, it's illegal, and a lot of times against policy. But our bartenders are drunk behind the bars a lot in America. They drink a lot, you know. But yeah, when we have scheduled for narcotics, it's very regulated. Soul Linder is in the house. How are you guys? How's your winter going in the Dakotas? Everybody say hello to Soul Linder. Soul, say hello to everybody. Happy New Year to you. When is it a good time to ask my wife to take the Christmas decorations down? 2 weeks ago. You should have done it today. Today. Today is a good time. I was going to ask mine to do it this week, but she wasn't feeling the greatest and she had to go to work for 2 days. So I'm going to try to convince her that we're going to do it this weekend. I'm going to go to Walmart tomorrow and buy some extra storage containers. And I got some boxes in the garage, empty ones, and I'm going to bring them in and I'm going to put them in the house. Say, no, I got those because I knew you were, I'm going to tell her, say, well, she's going to say, well, what are these here for? I said, well, I knew you were going to put the decorations away. Isn't that what you told me? So I got the boxes out of the garage. Meme says, I take my job seriously. I want to deliver a good time for the people. We know you do. We believe you. Hey, so she put them up like 2 months early and it looks like she might leave them up even longer. I know. My wife's Filipino, so we get it. I'm doing all right. Father Linder had to be rushed to the walk-in clinic over Christmas night. Damn, sorry to hear that. That's not good. I hope he's feeling better now. What is your DJ name, Meme? He wants to Google you. He's going to spy on you to see if he can get your autograph. He's going to say, man, I know this cat, you know. Yeah, we've had a lot of people in and out of the hospitals the last few weeks from sickness. In America, there's been a lot of people that have had the different flu viruses and things. So he's doing 3/4 better, nice. Well, at least he's doing better. And that's what you got to focus on. We weren't really under the weather sick-wise. We were just really tired. There was about a 5-day stretch for us where it was cloudy and cool and rainy. And we just didn't have a lot of energy. So Lorelei and I spent 3 or 4 days just hanging out of the house, not doing live streams, just relaxing and really doing nothing. Meme's DJ name is Deck Sharks. Google it. I'm going to Google it, Meme. Give me a second. I'm going to Google it. That's all Google Meme. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Deck Sharks. Okay, I got it right. I made it up to 540 gold. Nice. Congratulations to you. Decksharks.com. Wow, hang on. You actually might be famous there, meme. Deck the halls and happiest new year to everybody from Joe in the house. Joe, say hello to everybody. Everybody say hello to Joe. Thank you for the thumbs up. Not bad, not bad. You're famous. I'm trying to pull you up though. I'm clicking on it from America. Well, that didn't help me there. You got a new follower on Instagram. You got some followers on YouTuber. So is this your YouTube channel, right? Overseas Session. Deep Love, One Night and One Family. Followed you on Instagram. Very cool. So I guess, is Deck Sharks like a collective of DJs? I don't be famous. I try to invite people who's into music. No, it's all right, man. I think it's cool. Never be shy about something that you enjoy doing. You know, there is absolutely nothing wrong with being proud of and being prideful in something that you do and something you do well. And I agree with you. You know, it's kind of how I look at the world too. Look, you know, I know everybody thinks, I'm probably one of the best YouTubers on the entire world. I get that. I understand that. So if everybody wants to follow us, they can. If not, they don't have to. But is your label. Okay, all right. So I was trying to figure out how it kind of worked. Why are you still awake at 2:23? Meme. Yeah, Meme stays up late. I think he said the other day he was still on holiday break over there. So he didn't have to go back to work yet. So Meme, if you get a bunch of tour dates to come to America, let me know. So maybe you can book some jobs in America, get a work visa to come DJ in America. And my wife and I would try to come and see you then. As long as you promise to sign autographs. We might be the two oldest people in the crowd, but that's all right. If you're asking me what my go-to comfort food is, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to ask you, all of you who's in the background, just hanging out with us, what do you think my go-to food would be, comfort food would be? Now, he's asking what your comfort food is. I think there's a difference between your favorite food and your go-to comfort food. I'm especially awake for this stream. That's right. Meme enjoys our live stream, so he stays up and hangs out with us, which we greatly appreciate him doing. So, but yeah, what do you think my go-to comfort food is? Because I have one that pops up right away, and then I have a favorite food that pops up right away. So, I've got some good news, Soul Linder says. Soul Linder, what's your good news? Tell everybody your good news. Yeah, me too, meme. I planned to go to bed 2 hours ago, but yeah, I love this stuff too much. There you go. See, with followers like you, with you guys that like you who give us thumbs up and subscribes to our channel, we could never go wrong with people from another part of the world that checks us out. My mom is my management, and she is often the oldest in the. Well, okay, all right, but tell your mom to book you some gigs in America, you know, or maybe the Philippines. You can meet, hot, sexy women of the Philippines. Podcast is soon. I'll get ready. Oh, Soon's been working on a podcast. He's been telling me this for a month. So, but apparently he says his podcast is about ready to go. So that's good. Got to fix my glasses, Diana. Diana says, so soother, Diana says, hi everybody, I can't stay. I'm having a painful muscle spasms. Bummer. I did too much today. Lots of love to all. Take care. I have to go lay down. All right, Diana, we appreciate you. Get feeling better. And remember, as we get old, we got to be careful about doing too much. Not that you're old. I'm just saying, as we age, we got to start putting reality. I hate it, but we do. Grilled cheese out of no. I don't mind grilled cheese sandwiches. I'm not opposed to them. I don't know. I'll tell you, my go-to comfort food is meatloaf and mashed potatoes and gravy. The people that have to book me, I can't book gigs by myself. Okay. Oh, I didn't know if like your mom, your manager, could look at venues like, I don't know, Papaloosas, where they're looking for artists and they could submit you to being on the roster or something. I didn't know how that worked. Podcast equipment is almost all gathered up. Good. Well, now that you got equipment, now you got to do something with it. You got to do something with it. You got to put action to words. Mashed potatoes with gravy, yep, and meatloaf. That was my second guess. Good. I love mashed potatoes and meatloaf, I'm telling you. But my favorite food in the world is sushi. Love sushi. I could eat sushi 3-4 times easily a week. I have no problems eating. I like sushi. But yes, mashed potatoes, gravy with meatloaf. Also, news streaming is set up, put up, ready to show. Good. Now make some good content, get confidence, and start, because what I see, and I'm not trying to be mean, so I'm trying to give you some advice. It seems like you guys are talking a lot about what you're going to do on your YouTube channels versus doing something on your YouTube channel. So, because you got a producer, even though you don't have anything out there yet, you got all this team support staff, so to speak, that's going to help you with your YouTube channel, but you don't have anything going on yet. So it's kind of like you're putting the cart before the horse. I think if you create and you publish, and as you grow and build and have something for people to invest their time in watching, not money-wise, but invest their time in watching, then you would bring support staff to build yourself up. So sometimes I think when I talk to you, you're kind of putting the cart before the horse, but that's okay. You have friends or connections to guys out of parties in your area? Please give them my name. I will. I don't, but I would. I would, trust me. The only parties we have are Filipino party. Unless you can be a karaoke master, you wouldn't fit in. Because the girls only care about karaoke, and they're big into their own karaoke. So, but meanwhile, and so yeah, absolutely, Raleigh driving, and yes, Raleigh driving. So yeah, I don't, but yeah, the more you tell people what you do, because I'm really convinced that this platform and Facebook is really good for saying what you do, what your passions are, because you never know who you're going to meet. I know my channel's small, but there may someday be a promoter on here in your part of the world who just happens to come in because I look funny. And they want to stop to see what's going on in this funny land, this funny guy talking, and they realize what you are, and they go, oh, interesting. Let me do a little Googling, right? So you just never know. I'm still hoping somebody will give me a $5 million beach house. So I'm hoping that maybe someday Elon Musk might come into the live stream and go, hey, I kind of like that guy's hat. Oh, he would like to have $5 million beach house. Well, I could do that and give me a $5 million beach house. It's okay to dream big sometimes. Money is not my opinion. It's all about the music. I understand, but money allows you to do your music. So I think it's honorable to say I'm not worried about the money. I'm worried about the music or the art, which I think is great. But the more money you have, the more art you can make. It's kind of like that Ed Sheeran guy. You know his history, his story, right? You saw what he had to do, and look at him now. So he's world famous. Everybody knows who Ed Sheeran is. But he had to work his butt off and get little by little, little by little. When people wouldn't do anything for him, when the industry blew him off, he did it himself. Facebook just became a channel for the older generation. It is. I don't disagree. Yeah, property tax can be a problem. But you never know. You got to remember, a lot of the people that can do things are older people. You know, older people know things. Tax talk not allowed. Now, what the F? That's right, no tax talk. Taxes? What are taxes anyway? We all hate taxes. So, man, my house is hot for some reason. Whew. Well, what I'm going to say is this. Maybe then I hope you recognize that you're blessed and the fact that you have parents who can support your dream, financially support your dream. But it should be your dream now to make enough money doing your own art that you can support your parents' dream, not them support yours. That should be your motivation and your goal. Never depend on your parents. Well, I take that a step further and say never depend on anybody. And I mean anybody. Yeah, and we get that it makes it easier. But I got other friends that are in the similar situations in different venues. And I tell them the same thing. Your goal should be to make enough money to be independent, to make enough that your parents can live out their dreams. They just live their own lives without having to provide for their offspring. Taxation created to ensure debt can always be paid to support the bank cartel scam. I agree. And the government thieves. Taxes are just a way for the government to get rich. The people of the government. We are not the people of the government. So, I mean, you can't tell me when you first get elected to federal office and you make $40,000 a year And in 20 years, somehow you've amassed a fund of $400 million or $40 million. That's somebody that you didn't steal from us poor people. That's the next step. That's a good goal. It's a good goal. But I don't know how many politicians, you know, have become filthy rich becoming a politician. That's why so many want to be a politician. The next step comes faster when you put yourself in a phase of discomfort. I think that's a great, true statement, my friend. I do. I think that's a great statement. Not government. They have controls over the Federal Reserve and puppets. Yes. No, there's a whole lot more to it than just those idiot people. I mean, I think there's way more people getting wealth off the backs of the poor than you can imagine. Companies, cartels, banking industry, the food industry, the politicians, they're all getting a piece of the pie, or they would stop. If they weren't getting their cut of the pie, they wouldn't be doing it. And so I think every politician is dirty. I think government agencies are mismanaged and are dirty. I don't have much faith in a lot of it. You have to learn to talk about it, otherwise others will always take advantage of this. Yeah, I agree. All I can say is a gig in Amsterdam, for example, brings me about 3,000 euros. That's nice. That's probably for what? 3 or 4 hours work? 5 hours plus travel? Right? Would that be right? Well, right, Craig. That's what I mean. You're right, Craig. Politicians are a business expense. I agree. That's kind of what I mean, but they're getting a cut of the pie. If they weren't getting a cut of that pie, they would be all opposed to it. And they are opposed to it until they get a cut of the pie. And then all of a sudden they go, well, I got something else I need to work on over here. So if I did it 3 times a month, yeah, that's $9,000 a month. So how much, let me ask you this, Meme, not to be too nosy, but let's say they pay you $3,000 a gig. How much of that would be profit? So another way of saying it is, how much of that is your expenses? You can always just ask a booker for them to set you up at a place. Yeah, I was thinking of a booker earlier, an agent or a booker or somebody. And price and tell them that you decide what it's worth to them. Yeah, I would agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I think that's a good way to do it, because I think if people know that you are for hire, and and you're out there and you go to different bookers, or what we call headhunters a lot, looking for jobs. If you put yourself out there and say, look, I'd like for this booker to know me, this booker to know who I am, in case they need somebody, you never know, it could catch on. Money is power, amen to that. 2 hours plus 4 hours travel, okay. Only for another 6 to 12 months, then it will all change. You think, Craig? Why only 6 to 12 months? So 6,000 after tax, okay. Why only 6 to 12 months? What's gonna be the tipping factor? But yeah, we're going to have a bunch of changes in America this year. I don't know how good they will be for sure, but Donald is in office now. He's already running the country, as you can tell. They've already told the federal workers, get your ass back to work or quit your job. Trump, yes. Orbs will become so large, no denial option. Okay. I would like to see it. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but, I don't know how to say it without sounding crappy, Craig, but I think you know what I mean. I think it's going to be, if and when that happens, it's going to be very interesting. And I would definitely like to be a witness to it in some ways, but it also makes you nervous in some ways too. You know what I mean? So, he's already in the house. Well, technically January the 20th, but by all standard, he's in Florida running the country. And what he's says is going, what's going on. I know that the Democrats are doing their best, this last little thing, to try to throw a monkey wrench into things, but they're having a hard time with it. And they're trying to paint every, picture they can, but I think they know that they've all screwed the pooch. And, but obviously, his border czar is already in charge, even though he's not legally in charge, because he's in the media every day telling people what they're going to do, and people are doing it. You know what I mean? So even though he doesn't have an office yet, the media is his office. And so they're not in office doing things, but they're doing press releases saying, here's how it's going to be. It's kind of like the federal workers. We have like 200,000 of them out working from home. And some of them have a 5-year contract where they can work from home for 5 years. They don't got to show up for work. Well, it's like come back to work or get a different job. One of the two. And now the Democrats are going, oh, that's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, it's so horrible. It's like a corporation firing people, but they're not firing them. They're going to make them quit. Well, yeah, but if they don't come to work, I get some jobs should be remote. I do believe there's an economy in today's world where we need remote workers. But I don't think you need 200,000 of them as remote workers. I like to play at the Electronic Daisy Festival. Well, see, you should submit your demo to them. And even if you got to do it for free to get your foot in the door, down the road, that may lead to some big paid gigs. What is a personal value or principle you've never compromised on? Boy, that's a tough one. Meme says he meant electric. Craig is saying the scary part will be the manufactured distractions. I agree. That's the scary part, is how people are going to manufacture disinformation. God, that's a good question. What's a personal value or principle you've never compromised on? I got to be honest. I can't say that there's anything that I've never compromised on that I can think of. I mean, I'm not the same person at this age that I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So I may have done things that I would never do at different ages because of my values at that time. But I don't think I'm a good guy. I think I have screwed the pooch on a lot of things, and I mean a lot of things. I've been not good in a lot of ways. It's a bit difficult to join Electric Daisy Festival as a DJ. Well, I could imagine, but if you don't try, how will you never know? And so you find out who the director of the music venue side of it is, and you send him your stuff. Everyone compromises every day. I agree. I think we all do have to compromise. And I think we have to compromise our values, sadly. I know it's not an easy pill to swallow, but I do think it happens. so many Billings names. Well, yeah, and I get that. But you got to just keep working at that, getting your name out there. Because if you could ever get one gig that's bigger than you've ever been before, even if you got to do it for free, and you meet the other DJs, the other promoters, it opens doors. So you got to think about life as an opportunity to kick doors open. R&R says it's maturity. Yeah, yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's being mature. You know, our personalities change about every 5 years as it is. Our values change every 5 to 10 years. They evolve and grow. They can de-evolve without question. But difficult, but not possible, he says, tells Meme. Values are not real. Are they perceived, Craig? Would you say that they're a perceived value? Are we saying that we have no value, or that our values are not real? What we think are our personal values, not value, but values, is not real. So we don't have any values, but we have something that we use to guide us at every stage of life. Is right? I mean, like, I try not to steal, which I haven't stolen in a long time, I don't think. You know what I mean? So I try to have things in place that I hold myself accountable for, or that I don't want to be like X, Y, and Z and do these things. Is that a value or not a value? I'm just, so I love having good discussions. Who has the biggest impact on your life and why? Oh, that's pretty easy. To be honest, there's two. God, there's so many though. Because even from a young kid standpoint, I knew that I should watch other people. But I'm going to give you two quick ones. My wife, because one, she kept me literally alive, and I really enjoy her and being with her. So my wife, and she literally saved my life. So her. Two is my good friend Clark Thomas, who's a preacher down in southern Arkansas, who worked for the Arkansas Department of Labor, who I worked with for years at the community college. We had a partnership, worked with him years. I learned a lot from him just by watching how he treated other people. He treated people, and I would, and I read his book the other day and gave him big props on the book that he wrote. And I made a video and sent to his congregation and stuff, telling them, said, and this is the honest truth, was a lot of how I shaped my life in business and at the college and personally was by watching him do one particular thing. And I'll tell you what that is. Here's a lesson I learned from this man. He's 80 now. Great guy. Struggled in southern Arkansas, grew up in poverty, pulled himself through that, got an education, played baseball, all of those good things, right? Here's what he did that influenced me the most. One, every chance he got, he opened the door for somebody else and greeted them. Two, he always made sure everybody in a group or a meeting felt like they were an equal and they were part of it. That's what he did that I learned the most from. And I tried those even on my YouTube channel. I want everybody here on my YouTube channel to feel like you're important, which you are important to my channel. Because without you, I wouldn't have a channel. But that's what I learned from him. How important it is to recognize people and get them to understand that. So those are what I learned from him. Meme says Chris Liebing. Don't know him, but okay. Don't follow your own truth. Do what's expected. Okay, Craig, let me just try to understand. Craig says, don't follow our own truth. Do what's expected. But Craig, I would think it'd be the opposite. Don't do what's expected, follow your own truth, right? Shouldn't everybody follow what they believe and how they want to be versus what's expected, right? Because I don't like doing what's expected of me. I think that's bullshit. I don't like that. I'm not a very good at following into line. I don't think I am anyway. I hope I'm not. And I do try to follow what I think I would want somebody like me to do. That's the hardest decision you ever had is to make in your life. What's the hardest? I don't think there is. I don't think I've had it yet. It's going to be very hard for me to kill my dog. That will be the hardest thing. But to this point, and maybe at the time when she's ready, it won't be difficult. But to be honest, I don't think I've ever had a difficult decision. You got to have, but not that I'm smart or wise, but I've always tried really hard to weigh all of my decisions, to take in as much data as I can, to think about it, and then act upon it. And then if I've acted upon it and it went to hell, then it's my own fault. So I don't think I've had to make any hard decisions. When it's been time for me to put people in hospice, I put them in hospice. When it's time for me to move, I move. When it's time for me to quit, I quit. When it's time I do it. I don't think I've had a very hard decision in life. I just don't. I've had challenging ones, but difficult, no. Yes, I'm saying people who do what's expected and ignore what they know. I agree. Sheep, Craig. I'm with you there, buddy. You and I are on the same page. One of these days, we need to do I told you this a long time ago. One of these days, I'd like to have a conversation where you and I could just talk one-on-one and have a normal conversation, because I think it'd be really interesting to have a deep conversation with you, Craig. But I don't know about you guys. I mean, does anybody have an example of something that's been very hard for them to make a decision on? I just, Phil Schneider, my hero, a man 30 years ahead of its time, okay? Let me get some more water here. What's something you believe strongly in that others may not agree with? Well, boy, I have a lot of strong beliefs. And I'll tell you a couple things, but I want to Google this Phil guy's name real quick, so I have him on my search list. Well, you talking about the U.S. Army captain? Because I got a whole bunch of them coming up. Craig, is he the U.S. Army captain? So give me another word to go with Phil, because I got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of Phils coming up. Man, I got so many things that I believe strongly in that people may or may not agree with. It's crazy, but I will tell you this. I don't care if people agree with me or not, but I'll tell you a couple things. And this is a deep one. I don't think it matters what anything we do. I don't think we matter at all. At all. When I'm dead and gone, I'll be dead and gone. All the people that I've ever touched will be dead and gone. What I've done or did, what I've done for or did to them does not matter. We do not matter. Absolutely believe that. We don't matter. In the scheme of things, we just don't know. No, create underground bases for the W2 sub-captain, NAWSA through. Okay, I'll find them. Okay, that helps, Craig. I just had like 20 of them pop up. Some football coach from Montana, some guy this, some guy in the Army, some guy this. So I strongly believe we don't matter. We have no relevance on the world. What I do here today has no relevance on the world. I don't believe it. There is no meaning of life except for life. That's it. There is no big secret to the meaning of life. I think we make up all kinds of shit to make ourselves feel better about going through the bullshit that we put ourselves through as being living beings. That's false. What's false, Beam? Explain. Suicide at 94, I think, yeah. If you die, you're going to the next dimension. You may be, you may. But my point is, do we really matter? You may matter to my dog because my dog had a good life, but my dog's going to be dead and forgotten. We don't matter. Am I saying that you shouldn't try to do well in life and be the best person you can? No. But on the schemes of things, we don't matter. Nobody gives a shit about Abraham Lincoln, Julius Caesar. We may know them in the history books, but in the end, they really didn't matter. You are now in a third world. Could be. Next up is a fourth dimensional world. A lot of people think that. And the other thing I know and believe 100%, I don't have a clue. I know that I don't know what came before me and what's coming after me. I know what books tell me. I know what TV tells me. I know what YouTube tells me. I know what all of you guys tell me. I know it. But I have no clue what came before the day I was born and what's going to happen the day after I'm gone. None. No clue what's what. I have no proof of anything. Living deaf now, but we cannot, we're not capable of the real truth. I agree. And I don't know what the real truth is. And that's kind of my point. I don't think we know what the real truth is. I don't know if any of the religions have it right. I don't know that. I don't know if the scientists and the atheists have it right. I don't know if the ancient astronaut theory is correct. I don't know any of this for sure. So the one thing I know for sure is I don't know. But I will either find out or I won't. Because when I die and my body ceases to exist, I will either cease to exist, period, or I will move on somewhere else. I will find out. But as of today, I know nothing. We matter because our actions create meanings inspired to others that shape the world around us. I know a lot of people think that. I know a lot of people believe that. I just don't. I don't. And I'll give you an example. No real truth, only your own truth. You're right. You create it all. And I'm going to give you an example of why I don't think your statement is absolutely factual. I get the logic and the psychology about it. I know it makes us feel good to believe that we matter because our actions create meaners and inspires others. But does that matter, is my point. If I inspire somebody to do one thing that's good, does that really matter? And I'm going to give you an example of this, and this is kind of a weak example, but look, being married to a Filipina, and Craig is too, being around this community since I was 18 years old, one thing I know for sure, the people of the Philippines would do just fine if no Filipina would ever marry a foreigner. So when the Philippine people have a disaster, or they can't pay their bills, and the expat has to come to the rush to save the day, no. If we didn't exist, they would be fine. If America didn't exist, the rest of the world would be fine. If the Philippines didn't exist, the rest of the world would be fine. You may be missing something, but you would never know it. So we would continue. We're a gigantic ball of ants. And if you pluck out a few thousand ants, or put dots on them, or feed them apples, it doesn't matter. They're still going to be. Would you still have slaves if some of them did not stand up against it? No, I would agree. I agree with that. You would have slaves if people didn't stand up. Now, it wasn't just the slaves that did it. It was a lot of free people in other parts of the world. And you got to remember, America was the last country to abolish slavery. So we were way behind the times. So that was shifting and changing as a moral issue that people start realizing maybe it's not good, just like not eating people is not good. But that became a value and a philosophy of the human race. Should it be? I think so. But would it matter if it was or wasn't? It would matter to the slaves, but would it matter to the globe? Would it matter to the planet? Would it matter to the entire ecosystem of the planet? And I think not. I don't think we matter enough. I think we try to give ourselves too much credit for who we think we are. Do I believe that that we should look down upon others? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But I just don't think in the end it matters, because I'm going to be dead. What I did or didn't do is not going to last. It's not going to be there. Would women be allowed to vote if some of them did not decide to stand up? Well, but let me ask you this question, just hypothetically. Would it have mattered if it happened 50 years before? Would it matter if it happened 100 years later? Would it have mattered if men weren't allowed to vote? If men had to go through the same thing? Would that matter? You see what I mean? I don't think it matters because it's all just a chaotic jumble. First fact of energy is energy cannot be generated, just converted. Souls are energy. A lot of people think that. Craig says, individuals experience, but everything connected as one, so does help, but the time frame is so, yeah. So that helps, Craig. And maybe that's the thing you got to understand. It's like how I look at this is a sample size. Our life history, right? The time frame that we live in is a tiny, tiny part of the overall timeline of the existence of the planet. So does it really matter what David does? No. Does it really matter if the slaves were freed one day or 10 years, 100 years, or never? I don't think it does. It matters to the individuals, but not in the grand scheme of things, because it's just going to be. Because there's nothing that says that in another 100 years that there won't be a new slave. We may all get manipulated and thinking, hey, illegal aliens from every country ought to be turned into slaves. Or they can go home. If not, they can become slaves. You never know. So, Craig, that's kind of what I mean too. Mother Teresa dedicated her life to helping the poor and sick, which I think is a fantastic thing. We do a lot for the poor too. But we do it because we want to do it, and we want to see an immediate effect for those individuals in front of us. That's what she did, and that's what we do. America is an Egyptian spell. Nice, okay. For me, my kids, my parents, and for everything else that set in motion, okay? And I understand that. I understand that logic. I do. I get it. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think any of us matter. I don't think the previous, God, now I lost my word. The previous civilizations that came before us mattered, and we're not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. So we tell ourselves that we're important and that we matter to make us feel good as people. We do that. We gave 350 pounds of rice away for New Year's to the Philippines. We're very happy to do it and very excited that we got to do it and that we had so much help. But in the grand scheme of things, magic word, we all are slaves in some respect. I agree with that. You are a creator. Yeah, you are your own creator, which is technically biologically true. Because when we can have children, that means we are a creator. We just created that child, right? Which tells me everything's a creator. Plant, animal, everything's. What's one thing you've done that you're really proud but really talk about? Only control the moment you're in, yes. That's where I'm at, Craig. I think we can only control this life that we're in, and that's it. You know, I don't know. That's a hard one for me, too. Really proud, but I don't talk about. Well, I don't talk about a lot of things I do that are good because I don't like it. But way the human brain works, we think more about the bad things that we did or the mistakes we made or the missteps versus the things that brought us great joy. I personally, I really can't think of anything because I don't think I've ever done anything that is worthy to be proud of. I've just lived my life. I've just tried to, whatever age I was at the time, I just tried to be the best me. And I don't think trying to be the best you should be something that you're proud of. I just don't see anything to be proud of it for. Are you God? We may be a God, depending on your definition of God and how you want to define God. But in some ways, I guess technically, you might be your own God, or you may be a God. You could definitely be construed as a God. I mean, there's a lot of people out there in the world that want people to believe that they are a God. So it depends on your religious beliefs and your culture and your heritage and your upbringing is what, that comes at, I think. I don't think I am a God, no. I think I'm not even a creator because I never had kids from a biological standpoint. So I'm not even a creator. So I'm less than all of you who have kids because I'm not even a creator. So how's that? So that's an interesting twist on it, right? But I don't know. I can't think of anything that speaks to me as going, wow, that was a really proud moment of my life. No, no. A lot of happy moments. Uh, my dogs. I never thought that having dogs would make me happy. My dogs make me very happy. They keep me entertained. They keep me busy. They bring joy to me. I enjoy being married every day, but my dogs, my dogs. My brain hurts now, Craig says. We cannot work it out, don't have the tools, really miss that shut down third DNA strand. I know, I'm trying to get mine to turn on, but content creator. Yeah, there you go. I'm a content creator. Well, if that's the case, I guess I'm a cooking creator because I can make a taco. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting thoughts, right? What are we going to do? What are we going to be? Who do we want to be? I don't care what anybody thinks of me, to be honest, and I never have. It got me in a lot of trouble as a young person. But I never cared what people thought of me. So I've said a lot of things and done a lot of things that have pissed a lot of people off, but I don't care because I have to live with who I am. I do, not you. You don't have to live with me. I have to live with me. You can create life. I can, but I chose not to. That's my point. So for some of you guys who have children, then you are a creator. I chose not to have kids. That was my decision. Well, but are they? How many people are not proud of their predecessors or their parents? That means that the next generation of yours are proud to life because you lived. Well, I know what you're saying. They're happy that they might be happy that they're alive or that somebody gave birth to them, but that doesn't mean they're going to be proud of their parents and or they are going to be happy with their life. What about all the people that commit suicide, right? Or take their own lives? Those people obviously, what if they have mental illness, deformities, disabilities? We are not guaranteed anything. And there is no guarantee if I had a kid that my kid would be great, would be well, would be a criminal, would be anything. He could grow up to be another Hitler. There's no guarantees with that. And I think it's selfish of us as people to think, well, I'm going to have kids, one, so they can look after me, which in America that doesn't happen. But two, so that I can say I had kids. I think that's selfish. And three, because I want my children to look up to me. I think those are selfish reasons. If I could master any skill overnight, what would it be? Ooh, that's a good one. Fishing. I would like to be much more proficient in fishing and get to do it much. As is in the house, thank you. Hello again, sir. How are you doing today? We're doing great. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way. Everybody say hello to our good friend Hash in the house. Channel energy to create heart attack in people who piss me off. There you go. So, that's what I mean. I don't have any answers. I'm not a good role model. What's the most meaningful compliment you've ever had? Those are great questions, but I'll tell you, I'm going to look at this, a different way. I wish you a great and amazing day. Thank you. We hope you have a great year this year. We hope that everything's going to be the way you want it in the year 2025. Love that one. I guess maybe I'm cynical. I think most people give compliments because they have a reason to give it, not that it's earnest. So I can't, to be honest, think of a compliment that somebody's given me that made me think, wow, this is, I guess the one that's been repeated the most that I like, or that I think has a ring of truth to it, is that at times I'm a good role model and a good motivator. You're a wise and good person, believe me. Well, thank you for that. Well, and I get that a lot. I get told that I'm wise. I don't know about being a good person, but I used to be a lot smarter. I'm going to tell you guys. I used to be a lot smarter before my coma. Sorry, I forgot that I changed my name. That's all right. Aladdin, thank you for being here then, but we're okay with you, Hass. Do whatever name you like. Sorry, I used to sit with a group of friends every Thursday night and ask these kinds of questions, but the whole group broke up and it sucks not having. We did too. I used to have a group like this too. I had a group back when I was teaching. We would meet every month, have lunch, and we would throw out these weird, deep questions too. But I agree. That's why I tried to do some of this on my live streams in the past years. But a lot of people can't answer deep questions, as you know, right? PA Outdoors says, cheers, David. Happy New Year to PA. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. PA, everybody say hello to PA. Meme, God give us self-control. Boy, we need that. I'm Dino, as you name me. I got you, Dino. Everybody could say hello to Dino. Dino changed his name. Dino changed his name to Dino. We changed his name to Dino, so thank you, Dino, for being here from Tanzania. Please don't talk about Hitler or I time you out. PA Outdoors, Happy New Year, everybody. Jokes aside, that's correct. He was Austrian. That's right. And he was a good painter, but he was also a psychopath, so there you go. R&R Walks likes that meme. So, I like deep questions, and I like people asking questions and answering them and giving food for thought. We used to do a thing at the college where I did a series about food for thought. I'd have guest speakers come in and talk to people, and the title was Food for Thought. And we would throw something out and say, here's something to know, just food for thought. Yeah, it did not work out here either. One disrespected me and I deleted her on my life. Good. Others scammed me out of 30K. Holy shit. Well, I don't want 30K, but can I have 15K? What if I just half scammed you out of 15K? Would that be? No, it's, what I have found is a lot of people can't talk on a higher level. They got to talk about, drinking, women, sports, cars. They can't talk, even when it comes to those topics, they got to lowbrow it. And here's something that's really strange. When a lot of people, when they get together in a group, their IQ goes down because whoever the dumbest person is in the audience, everybody has to come down to that level. So, and I've seen this. I've seen groups of people where we've had supposedly smart people and average person come in and they start dumbing down because they think that person doesn't understand. So, and I've seen it the other way. You got a bunch of average folk and you get some guy who thinks he's an elitist comes in and they try to talk up to him. If you can't get 30K from a hold, and you'll get to keep at. All right. So, but I've seen that. I've seen that happen. One thing that I I was always good at, and I learned this, was how to try to pick my or understand my audience. So when I was doing private consulting work and teaching, I would get a sense of who my audience was, so I knew which level to speak on. If I was addressing a bunch of corporate people, I would talk more professionally, use more bigger words. You know, if I was talking to the hourly workers, I would talk more relaxed and cut up with them a little bit more, have a little bit more fun in their day, and bring the conversation down to where it was more casual environment. And now once I got to know a group of bigwigs who thought they were something important, then what I would try to do is get them to lighten up so that we could have open dialogue. Meme is saying hello to our good friend Dino from Tanzania. So one thing I tell people all the time, you need to know your audience. Who are you talking to? What's their education level? What is the subject matter? Where do they want to go? Are these bigwigs wanting to talk about what you want to talk about, or is there something else going on? If you could relive one moment in your life, which would it be and why? I think that's pretty easy, to be honest. For me, I would relive my wedding day because now that it happened and I've experienced it, I would redo it so that I could get the full excitement and joy out of it. Does that make sense? Because I've already been there, done that. So I would rather redo it with all the knowledge I have so that we could make it even, so you could savor it, so to speak. Dino! For example, this school year, I'm pretty competitive classroom and had a low level in class. But this year with the new classroom, I am becoming better. Good. And I think you got to figure out what your goal is. When I would go into, to consult with companies, I needed to know what that company wanted the end goal to be. When you came as one of my students, well, you had to figure out what my end goal was as the teacher. It's a different role. So my end goal was to get my class that I taught here. When I did consulting work for bigwigs, my end goal was to get them where they thought they wanted to be. And if where they thought they wanted to be wasn't where they really needed to be, it was my job to gently bend them to where I wanted them. Yes, it does. Yes, that's right, Meme says. I would love to relive a moment so I could understand it more. Yeah, Craig, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, no, I guess most people would say they would relive the winning lottery numbers to the biggest Powerball ever so they could have the numbers ahead of time and buy a ticket and do all of that so they could get half of it at least. But for me, I would be happy reliving the wedding day. I think it was such of a thing that I probably missed a lot of things. You'll be able to see so many new details when you do that. Indeed, Craig. Yeah, dream big. And that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, reliving the wedding day would be cool because I think we missed a lot. I do. I think just being caught up in the chaos, you miss a lot of details that you wish you wouldn't have. So that's what I'm at on that one. But what do I know? I don't know. I mean, I played sports and had good times. I've dated a lot of women. I've traveled a lot. All of those were fun. But sometimes the experience you have is the only experience that you need. Well, I'll tell you, and I'm going to go back to this, and it wasn't advice, intentional advice. Because sometimes the best advice I received was not what somebody told me, but it was what somebody did. And that was my friend from earlier who always opened the door for everybody, meted and greeted them, and made them feel welcome and a part of the group. He didn't tell me to do that, but he role modeled it. That was the best advice I was ever given. Dino says, I know I don't know that much about marriage, but I feel it's okay a day that I can be forgotten. Well, yeah, that it can't be forgotten. Well, and it's not forgotten. It's a very unique day. I've only been married once. Lorelei's only been married once, and that's to me. So we haven't forgotten it, but I think there's just so many little things that maybe we missed because we were misdirected by what we were doing. That would have been nice. Yeah. Craig says, 13 years of marriage and thinking about it every day, I still can't comprehend what in the hell happened. So, Dino, yep, it's unique, exactly. It is. And looking back, I would have wished we would have made it better. Maybe was that good or okay? I think it would have been, I wish could have made the wedding better because my philosophy on marriage at the time is not the same as it is today. My philosophy on the wedding at the time of the wedding was it's not a big deal. The wedding itself is not important. So it wasn't a big deal to me. But 10 years later, 11 years later, I wish we could have, not the marriage. Craig says, no, not the marriage. That's 19 years. All right. But I wish I would have done it better. I wish I would have done it better. I'm going to try to implement that as well. This is now you have influence and create it. Do you matter? I do not. Because my friend, I hate to say this, but you're not going to matter in this grand scheme of things either. I think for today, we've given relevance to ourselves, and we may give relevance to others in our time frame. But now, yeah, as a Muslim, we must get married as soon as possible. Yes. Well, the good thing is, where you're from, you're part of the world. You got a lot of beautiful women. To be honest, there's not a lot of ugly women in that part of the world. So you may be ugly, but Lincoln says, I am playing Fortnite. Nice. I have never played it. I do got one of those new VR thingies my wife got me, the Data Quest 3 or some crap. I don't know what it is. That's because no sex before marriage, Dino. That's right. And we all want sex. Look, I don't care if you're Muslim or not, you want sex. Yeah, we got one of those. But Dino, I think, and I have friends that are Muslim, and I'm very partial to protecting their right to be Muslim. Because I got a lot of Christian friends that hate Muslims, and it pisses me off. Because how dare they hate anybody because they're Christians? I don't get it. And if you want to talk about religion a tiny bit, that pisses me off. I don't understand how any Christian can hate anything or anybody. But they sure do. And it makes me mad. Because I've had an experience with a Muslim young man who treated me better and kinder than anybody else ever did, just because that's what his religion made him feel and believe that he should do. There is no sex, only if you're married. Well, that's what we mean, Dino. That's what Craig means. We all want sex, so we want to hurry up and get married in the Muslim faith, right? So that you can have sex. It's like the Mormons in America. They don't believe in premarital sex. Christians don't either, but they do it anyway. But Mormons take it more seriously. So they want to get hooked up really quick so they can start enjoying, the 12 times a year that they're allowed. Read it again. You do matter, and I know, and I know what you were saying. That you're telling me that I matter, and I appreciate that. Because you keep hanging out here, and I'm going to be tired tomorrow. Meme says, I started at 16 years old with my music. At this time, I don't have a clue, but I am intuitive to try and succeed. Good. Don't think about it too much. Just do and dream. I agree with that. Dino says we call it the Holloway. Holloway. Is that because I don't know because I'm not very smart? Are you saying Holloway is the Muslim word for sex? I don't want to get you in trouble, and I'm going to Google it just, or is that a nickname? Because now I'm curious. Or are you talking about my friend who helped us in our time of need just because, his beliefs told him he should do that, even though I was not Muslim and he didn't know me? I found something. Okay. Hala is used to refer to actions and behaviors. I got you now. And they're teachings of Islam. That's right. Actions and behavior. He told me that. He told me to. Yeah, he told me that. I remember that now, Dino. I remember that now. Serotonin and oxytocin makes the world go around. You are on it, Craig. That's it. It means good works. Yes. Yep, that's right. Yeah. And I remember him telling me that because I had a lot of conversations with him about his religion and everything. And I love to learn. So, but, I know people here that absolutely hate Muslims. And I know some that have never even met any. And I'm like, how can you hate somebody you never met? And how can you hate a whole religion because you met one bad person? So, look, we have horrible Christians all over the United States. I mean, that guy that killed people in Louisiana the other night was a Christian. So should we hate every Christian? It just doesn't make any logical sense to me. Why do we hate an entire group of people because of one person's actions? I don't get it. That's it. We all are humans. If you cut us open, we bleed, right? If you cut me open, I still have the same arteries and veins as everybody else does. It doesn't matter where you're from. We're all humans. We're made up of all of the same alien DNA that's out there. We're all the same people. Black, white, whatsoever. We love and respect every religion in the world. Well, I don't disagree. That's kind of the difference that I found from hanging around with my friends was he never said a bad word about another religion in the world. But Christians are happy. I know people now, and one guy comes to my house on a regular basis, which makes me sick because, how much he hates Muslims because he was in the army and served in Iraq and get the fuck out. I mean, and I told him one day and said, well, you know how many people hate Christians? Well, what? Makes no sense, right, R&R? People want that. Powers to be don't. Hatred creates money. Yes. Hatred is a big, big, big business. Love is not. And I can tell you, you can look at YouTube as an example of this. These channels that hate on other channels and they fight with people and they're, Muslim this or that Philippine blogger this, or that Canadian guy this, or that Brit expat this, they get all kinds of views and subscribers. But the channels that promote love and working together and harmony and don't beat up on people, that's what my channel is. We try not to tear anybody apart, But look, I only got 3,600 subscribers. But these hate channels will get 100,000 subscribers. Craig says people want that. Powers that don't. Hatred creates money. And Hate is money. Greed Craig, holla is good sake. Saki. Just imagine if all the world are on one hand, and imagine the peace that we would live in. But this is always will be a dream. I agree. No, I didn't know that. So you're saying the tensile strength of bone is stronger or higher than metal? I didn't know that. But hate is easy. You know what I mean? It's easy to be hateful. It's easy to have a hate channel. It's easy to have a channel that's just slapping some girl's body parts around to get likes, subscribes, and views. It's easy to do tricks on people versus trying to do good things and growing a YouTube channel. Hate is easy. We are recyclable. I agree with that. We are an organic being that's recyclable, just like a fish. If you can throw fish out in your garden and it fertilizes the ground, and so does animals of any other kind, why can't humans? Right? Humans are that way. That's why I have this, we will be cremated. I don't want to be buried. But if I was going to be buried, I don't want to be buried in a box. I should just be devoured by the earth and put back into the cycle of the planet. But I'm going to be cremated because, one, it's cheaper for my wife, and then it's easy to get rid of me at a lake or a river or an ocean. So that's my thing. I want to be cremated and disposed of in the water. And then she doesn't got to pay for a stinking funeral. Dino said, facts, yes. So, I don't know. It's all crazy, my friends. But see, all we can do is just keep doing what we're doing. Different things, body and soul. I would agree. I think your body has nothing to do with your soul. Your body is just a vessel to carry the soul around, right? Your body is a body. My body could be your body's, Craig. It's only by a miracle that I am who I am, in a sense. Because I could be you or anybody else. I tell people this all the time. All of us right here on this live stream are truly blessed because we all have internet. That's a big deal. There are still millions of people that can't afford internet. So we must be blessed. Yes, I knew that. He's saying, did you know that the feeling of intense hatred activity is the same brain region as love? Yes, I knew that. Give it time. Give it time. So, I don't know. So, all I can do, and this is something my wife and I have talked about on our YouTube channel, and we appreciate all the good people that come and watch our channel. We know we're not the greatest channel. We don't have the biggest following. Would we like to have 100,000? Yes. Do we want to get to that? Yes. But we're not going to compromise our own vision of who we want to be in order to do that. We're not going to hurt people intentionally. I'm not going to make my wife dance up here half naked just to get people to give us money or likes and subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to do it. If I can't grow this channel being me, then it's not meant to be, and that's okay. Chemical reactions are emotions. I agree with that. Hope you get all the subscribers you want. Well, we appreciate that. Well, and and I've told you guys, the only reason I do this channel and why I want this channel to grow is so that it can make money so that I can set my wife up to have a better life after I'm dead. Because there's a 90% chance that she's going to outlive me by a long time. So right now, our channel is small enough. The money we make, we donate back to people in need. But if we could ever make $500 a month, $1,000 a month, then I'm going to invest that for my wife. Because I want her to never have a debt ever again in her life after I'm dead. So when I'm not here, whatever happens in her life, I want her to be financially secured. That's why I do YouTube. It really is. If it wasn't for that goal, I wouldn't be on here. Or they are, because they can still enjoy reading the papers without being interrupted, yes. The system is trying to split the peoples, and that's the force behind it. I agree with that. No, 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 don't say that. May God give you all the time and all the happy times with your family. No, and do you know what I'm talking about is logic. Do I want to die at this point in time? No, there's been a phase of my life when I was in a coma, and I wish I would have died for, and trust me, it was the worst part of my experience of my entire life, living through a coma. And I would never do it again. But I'm not saying I want to die, but I'm saying the logical, pragmatical science guy in me knows my wife is 15 years younger than me. She's healthier than I am. I have heart failure, kidney failure, lung failure. I've had so many surgeries. The odds, it's not about wanting to leave her or wanting to give up on life. It's just common sense. The odds are in her favor of her outliving me for a long time. Just the way it is. Did you know that the Philippines is made up of over, yes, 76,000 islands, but only two, that's correct. I did know that, yes. Yes. Yep. And do you know why it's only 2,000 islands? Why the other islands are not inhabited? No, I agree. I agree. But that's kind of I'm a very logical person. No matter what your faith is, what you believe, you got to use logic sometimes. And you got to look at look, I know I don't want my dog to die, but she's been diagnosed with heart failure. There's something seriously wrong with her. It's only logical that she's going to. The miracle is in the soul, and the soul is energy. Do you really think we're here by accident? I do. I wouldn't say accident, but I'm not absolutely convinced there was some gigantic divine plan for in the whole scheme of everything that me, was scheduled to be right here, right now, right here. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't think there was some grand plan somewhere that I would be sitting here talking to you guys today at this time. I do not believe that. I think a lot of things are random. That's why disclosure will come direct to people if they are sick of the manipulation. I agree. We are being manipulated. Do you know that the Philippines is the only country celebrates Christmas for nearly 4 months? Yes, you got to remember I'm married to a Filipino wife. Yes, it's called the Burr months, and so is Craig. So we know that very, very well. Okay, you want the Komodo dragons? They are cool, aren't they? Their saliva is what is really cool from a biological standpoint. Yeah, we're all sick of it. I'm so sick of manipulation too. But how do we do anything about it? It took me 5 years to bring it back up to 1 month. So there you go. We're here for a purpose, and that purpose is to fill the universe and do good deeds, okay? And every single thing that happens in this earth is for the reason. And one day, everyone will know what he did. Okay. I know there's a lot of people that believe that. But what I'm saying is, I don't necessarily think that, because you would have to look at this. If we look at this as a mathematical equation, how long has the planet been here? How long has the humanoids been on the planet? How many humanoids have been on the planet and will be on the planet before we know this? I don't think there's an absolute definitive plan that says David was going to be here tonight at this point in time. That's how I look at it. I think it's too complicated of a problem. Well, I'm on a thinking and I can't pin it, to be honest. But I would otherwise, but I can't do it otherwise. But I agree with him in part of that. I do think we should, and maybe this is a belief or a value of mine, but I believe we should do good deeds and do everything we can to help others. I believe all of that. I think that's all important. But I don't think it's necessary for me to be here at this moment in time versus 30 years ago, 40 years in front of us. I think you can plug in the same things because there's too much variation. Sometimes I wish I had the faith to believe. So much easier than questioning everythingy. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe. But I do think no matter, look, I don't care. I don't think it matters what you believe, where we came from. I think the purpose of a human is to do good. I do. I think the purpose of humans is to be a positive entity on the ecosystem of the planet. Now, I'm not saying we are. I'm saying our duty, we should, and the plan was for us to be a positive in the gigantic scheme of the planet, no matter what you believe, whether you're Muslim, Christian, or an atheist, and or, the alien theory, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care if you think Bigfoot is the Lord and Master of the universe. Humans, the organism of a human body is, I believe, was put here to be productive in a good way as part of the ecosystem of the planet. And Craig might be right. And I think Dino this kind of falls in a little bit of what Dino may be thinking, or believing. Because I don't want to say he's thinking it because he believes it. Maybe the purpose is the experience. And Craig, I think that's a great rabbit hole to go down for a lot of people. And I think for a lot of people, the experience is the purpose of being alive or being here. I believe that. I believe a lot of people believe the experience is the purpose. So my purpose on the life is my experience and what I can mentor or do or share or how I can matter with everybody else. It could be. It absolutely could be. I think we're bigger than we think we are. I think we're more complicated than we are. I think humans have multiple roles to play in the ecosystem of the planet, of the civilization. We can, in the global perspective, we can have environmental factors, we can have sociology factors, we can have psychological factors. So we can have way more than just one or two little factors. I think it's so vast and deep and complicated that we will never understand why we're here. We will never understand it. Now, maybe to Dino, after we're gone, maybe we will be enlightened to it. And I don't know that. That's what I said earlier. I don't know. God put us here. Let me back up a little bit. Did you know that the oceans cover, 70% of the Earth's surface, yet more than 80% of them remain? That's correct. I did know that. I did. I used to be a smart person. God put us here because it's a test every day to the human being is being tested in every single thing that he does. Because in the end, he will attend the big day, the day of judgment. So I know from a lot of the religious belief system is just that that you were here to prepare yourself to be judged. More German, sorry, I talked in German, I know. You are here to create life. A lot of people believe that. I don't believe we're here to create life. I don't believe that. Otherwise, I should have had a kid, right? But I didn't. So I don't necessarily believe that I am here. In the end, it's a test. I know a lot of people believe that. And I don't know if I do, Dino, or not, about it being a test. Because I think humans can't pass the test. I don't think we're good enough to pass any test. A tester or controlled, yeah. Well, I think every day is a test of our character. I do. But you might ask, if we want to go a little deeper, and I hope nobody gets offended, but let's go a little deeper. If we look at religion, let's take it a step further. So I believe in this global ecosystem that we're all just intertwined in so many ways that we can't imagine. But what if religion, as part of this, right? Religion is part of this, many factors, many variables in our gigantic ecosystem. Religion is part of that. And what that religion does is give the good that goes into the ecosystem, and the non-religion or the crazy or the bad or the evil is the other side of that yin and yang that goes into, that helps keep the planet alive and going. So maybe, Dino, you're right, but it's part of the grand scheme of the planet. Human is not controlled. The human is free and controlled at the same time. Only the angels are controlled. So I think, Dino, can I clarify or say, so to me, that statement says that we have the ability as a human being to control ourselves, is kind of what I take from that. It's a computer test, the system controls itself. I think if it was a test, we'd all prove. In that case, did you know a single gram of DNA can theoretically store 255 petabytes of data? Wow. Yes, I didn't know the exact numbers, but I knew that was out there. Religion is a controlled mechanism, in my view. So Craig believes religion is a controlled mechanism. I do think that's true, Craig. And what I'll say is, I think religion has gotten out of control because now it's controlled by people that want to control it for the sake of controlling it, not for the beliefs that it's supposed to be. Religion is now a political machine, is what religion is now. You're a human being, not human doing. Do you understand? Yeah, I get that concept, but I think because I am, you know? Yes, exactly, because we are in a test. You couldn't be in a test and be controlled. I would agree. I get what you're saying. So we have the ability to control and do what we do. It's up to us, and it truly is. I don't care what you think. If I decide to get up and get drunk and drive a car and kill somebody, that's on me. Nobody else made me do it. I'm in charge for those small things like that. And that's why I tell people, what I want you guys to do is to focus on your own individual life, the people around you. Don't worry about the politicians or the religious leaders that are bonkers. Don't worry about all the things you can't handle. Focus on what you can have influence on and do that. And I give this analogy a lot about an airplane. When you fly on an airplane, the first thing the captain says, and in case of an emergency, the air mask is going to drop in front of you. Before you help somebody else, put it on yourself, then help somebody else. That's the number one thing we have to do in life. Before we can help others, we have to help ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves so that we can influence or be an influence on people around us. Well, there you go. Craig says, Dino, you can be controlled when they write the questions. Yeah, when you know the questions. You are smart. Did you also know the human brain has 86 billion neurons? I couldn't remember the exact numbers, but I knew it had billions. Capable of forming thousands of connections, resulting in trillions. Yes, I knew all of that. I didn't know the exact numbers, but yeah, I went through all of that in college. But the part that is controlled in your life is your fate, because fate are only by the hand of God. No matter what you do, your fate is already written. And I know a lot of religions believe that, Dino, and I know a lot of them do. I know a lot of religions believe that. Every religion is, well, here's what I used to tell people about religion. Is it manipulative? They are. It is. Every religion tries to get you to do what they want you to do and only what they want you to do. And every human knows what's right or wrong without, I agree with this. I think if you took external influences away, humans know what is right or wrong intuitively. But what I'll say about all the religions is this. And I'm going to tell you this. For me, religion is like a wagon wheel. You take a wagon wheel. You know that you have a hub in the center and all these spokes and triangles coming off, right? So envision a wagon wheel. I think that's what religion is. There is a core hub of commonality that may actually be truth, but it's a small core. It's a very small hub. And then humans have influenced these spokes that created these triangles of religions. And they're all over the whole circulating. So they all kind of start with a grain of truth and they mushroom it into their own philosophies and beliefs, and that serves their agenda best. And maybe I'm jaded or I'm too analytical or too scientific, I don't know. But I think that's what religion is for me. There's a grain of truth in the center, then all of this stuff around the outer stuff is a bunch of garbage. It's a bunch of hooey that people made up because it served their own interests. You're right, from birth on. So I believe that about religion. I do. I think there's a grain of truth in there, and then everything else. Because one thing I get mad about with Christians, when they talk about how the king, and I'm going to give you an example of this. And I know my Christian friends, and I'm Christian too. I was baptized, all of that. But here's what I want to say. I have Christian friends tell me all the time, well, the King James Bible is the word. No, I don't believe it is. I think it's been too manipulated by man over the centuries. We do not know what the truth was, because you think King James didn't have his influence on how that Bible was written? If you truly believe that former popes didn't have their own agenda when dictating Catholic law, you have to be delusional. Humans are the bad ones. Humans are the corrupt ones. Humans are the power-hungry ones. You can't convince me that world religion leaders didn't manipulate the religions over the centuries. Good for you, Dino. At least we can have this discussion. I agree. Give it time and only one agenda allowed. That's the scary part of it. No alternate views or anything now. That's control in my view. Yeah. No, Dino's a good guy and he's open-minded, which I like, and he knows we're not going to pick on him. But Craig, I don't disagree. The scary part now no alternative views on anything. And that's what I don't like. It's like when people, oh no, that can't be. The King James Bible would have never been perverted by King James. Well, bull crap. Come on. We see it everyday history. Pat Riley's in the house. Good evening. Thank you for being here, Pat. We see it all the time. People manipulate people for their own personal gain, for their own personal value, for their own personal pleasure, whatever it may be. And world religion is that problem. That's right. We all are humans and we all accept each other with all their different, we do, especially on this channel. Now, one thing I'll say as a follow-up to that whole Bible manipulation by everybody, how we're going to manipulate religion to suit ourselves. The only thing I can say, and I'm not an expert in it, Dino by far, I'm not. I've never read it, but from my understanding, the Quran is the only thing that has not been rewritten. Every other religious documentation throughout the centuries have been rewritten to be updated and or influenced by the Catholic Church at this point, or the Protestant Church at this point, King James at this point. You know, that's why we have an Old Testament and a New Testament. Because, well, we didn't like the Old Testament, so now we got to have a new one. Well, I'm telling you, you can't trust humans to do the right thing. You think those people truly? No. So that's my thing. That's right. But anyway, Pat, good evening. Thank you for coming in. We've been having a deep conversation tonight about everything. So we appreciate you coming in and hope you enjoy some of it. And man, it's been a good one. It's been good. But that's kind of what I think. I think, I don't know. I just have a lot of problem with things. Pat says I have an Old and a New Testament Bible. Yeah. And I just don't like that we've entrusted humans to tell us what is right or wrong. You know, say, well, you know, I just, you know, I've read too much history. I've read too much history in my life. And I know we're I got a text Lorelei, hang on. There's been too many examples in history of people that have manipulated groups of people in the name of good and in the name of God. My Bible's old, okay, yes. They tried to tell us that we are human beings in a universe. The truth is, you are the universe experiencing a human being. Nice, all right. Yeah. Yeah, so I just don't, I don't know. I just don't trust people. Oh, yes. Hang on. So I don't know. I've learned one thing, not to trust humans. That's one thing I know. We're 60 90s before Jesus, same date and 3-day raising, astronomical description of solstice event from Northern Hemisphere view. Yeah. I think it's the new generation trying to change our Bibles, but it is. I think it's, you know, I think, do you think John Smith is correct, the Mormon faith? Do you think, you know, the popes were all correct? You know, do you think, they're humans. Humans are the worst people. Humans are the worst people on the planet. You know, we are not necessarily, you know, the best role models. We are not great role models. Yeah, the Quran has remained unchanged since its revelation over 1,400 years ago, due to the combination of divine preservation, meticulous memorization, and transcriptural practices. I agree. Dino, that's what I was trying to say. You know, but the Bible you buy at Walmart has not. You know, the Mormon Bible has not. And it's only, the Mormon faith is only a couple hundred years old. So it's just, there's too many pop-up religions to make you think. The Catholics, you know, okay, so we should believe, and I'm not Catholic, and I don't want to pick on them, but okay, we should believe all the Catholic priests, even though they have sex with little boys. Well, what in the hell went wrong with that? You know what I mean? If they are so enlightened, and they are so ordained by God, why are they molesting children? Why are the Baptists so money hungry? Why are the Protestants so money hungry? Why is it that every time I walk into a Christian church, the first thing they want to know is, how much money do you make? Would you like to go ahead and give us your bank account number so that we can deduct the tithing out of your checking account? No, I don't. Let me get it cut up. Our parents are remodeling the day we was, role models from the day we were born. Old generation families. Alexandra's in the house. Good evening, young lady. How are you? We are doing great tonight. We're excited about the year upcoming. She says, and churches aren't taxed. They pocket it all. They do. And I don't like that. I think churches ought to be taxed. That or none of us should be taxed. Just the way it is. I don't like it either. Quran based on ancient Hebrew texts now kill each other. That worked well. There you go. Pat says that's no, you don't tell pastors how much you make. I agree. Glad to join you in the new year. Yes. We're glad you're here. We appreciate all the support you give our channel. We like having you young people in here with us old people. So, yeah, that's one thing I learned years ago was I never, ever give a check to a church. There was years ago that I went to a church and they were trying to fundraise for somebody to get a car who needed a car really bad. They had kids and all. I didn't mind. I had the money. So I wrote them a check for like $150. Man, I immediately got a letter saying, oh, well, we're going to start. No, I quit. No, you ain't deducting anything from my bank account. Well, correct. And they get offended by that. Well, you know, it's God's money. It's God's money given to us. What I don't get is this. Do you need a $20 million building to worship God in? If you have so much faith in God above, why do you need a multi-million-dollar building to do it in? Why? You know? Plus T minus T. Nice thumbnail, Alexandra. Yeah, she has a nice thumbnail, doesn't she? Yeah, Dennis enjoyed her thumbnail too. So you're probably making her blush, but she has a very nice thumbnail. Benny, Han, Paul Crouch was crooks. Jimmy's, I agree, they're all crooks. TJ's workshopping shop. Hey, how are you, TJ's? What's up, my brothers? Yes, we're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you for coming in. Thank you all for the thumbs up. No, it's hard-working. No, it's hard-working taxpayers' money. God has no involvement in the American dollar. I would agree. But if you really believe in God and have faith in God, why do you need a multi-million-dollar building to worship in? I don't get that. Sorry, says that. So, but if that's what you want, I just don't, I guess maybe I'm getting old and cynical. The older I get, the less I trust what people say and more what they do. Pat says you don't need a billion-dollar church, do you? You don't, right? But we sure do have a lot of them, don't we? That's what God wants. That's right. God wants me to have a jet plane so that I can worship better in my ministry. So that if I want to fly to Las Vegas and gamble, if I want to fly to Vegas and minister to the sinners, then I need a jet plane to do that. No, I don't believe that. I think humans are liars. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not a big fan of the human race. I don't think we're good. You won't make it to heaven to be a billionaire. I agree. Look, I understand greed. I want a beautiful beach home that I can't afford. I would love if somebody all I need is $5 million. And Lorelai and I will be set up for the rest of our lives on the water. All I need is $5 million. That's all I want. God has ordained it. But you don't believe that. You don't believe it, right? You believe that I want it, but you believe that God hasn't ordained that. So why would you believe that somebody else needs a jet? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry for people that are offended by that, but I don't get that. I don't understand it. I would rather them take that, we got churches here where we live. We're in a very wealthy area. They could have built a big metal building to keep the rain off, keep you heated and cooled for a tenth of what they spent. But they could have spent that money, gave it to the poor, educated the poor, fed the poor, provided them with jobs and ways of earning livings, versus having this building that is worth millions upon millions of dollars. That's right. I don't need it, but I want it. That's right, Craig. And I want you, my subscribers, to provide it for me, because I know without you, I can never achieve my dream of a beautiful beach house with a boat and a swimming pool and a movie theater and a gourmet kitchen. Well, technically it'd be intercoastal water. I don't want to live on the beach. I need to be on the intercoastal water. But without you guys, I would never be able to fulfill, it's bullshit. That's right. I don't need it, but I want it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just get stuck. I get hung up on some of this. I just do. I have problems with it. And I start my own church, Church of David. I don't need a financial power. Dina, we also have the problem too. The poor are suffering and the rich are living their dream life by taking advantage. I agree. And the Muslim faith is just as guilty as the Christian faith in this. I agree with you. I think a lot of times Muslim faiths do better job on certain things than Christians do. But I think in this case, they're all guilty of sin. I'm in knowing about my human power. Human power, baby. I don't want to be a billionaire. I have what I need. God help me. If you ask, pray. Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yeah, we have what we need. Would we like more? Of course, because I would like to go fishing every day in warm weather on my own boat. But, it is what it is. So, yeah, money will take you to hell, but it'd be a fun ride getting there. That's what the rich people say, right? That's what I may be going to hell because of the money, but by God, it would be one sweet trip. I don't know. And here's the other thing I don't understand. Why is it that poor people help poor people? Right? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Why do poor people help poor people? If you looked at the percentage of money that is given away by poor people to other poor people, it would never come close to the people with the money. Alexandria, I live right next door to a church. Pastor has a Ford Mustang Fastback, and it's probably a $40K to $45,000 car. Yep. I think we all know where the money came. Yeah. And he justifies it because saying my salary is set by the board members of the church. Well, the board members of my church sets my salary. Well, but I do kind of whisper in their ear, I need a pay raise this year. I really need to buy another, because I know pastor friends that do that. They get a raise from the board members of their church, but they know how to go to them individually and soft sell this to somebody else brings it up and says, I think it's time that we give Pastor Dave a $20,000 a year raise. Happens all the time. The human power to help others and make things happen. Because poor people live the same struggles than other people. You got that right, Dino. That's the correct answer. Why poor people help others, other poor people? Because they live it every day. Rich want to say rich, poor, poor, resonate with the poor. Yes. They know the struggles and are more willing to help. I agree. That's why we do it. We were very happy that our followers donated a bunch of money and we threw money in and we were able to give away 350 pounds of rice for New Year. Very happy about it. We do a lot of other things in the Philippines that we don't tell anybody about. But that one we shared with everybody and it was a great success. Because even the people that are around us that doesn't have a lot of money, they know that $5 goes a lot further in the Philippines than here when it comes to rice. That's why we're at the tipping point, Dino. Enough is enough, yeah? At some point, it is going to dip. Income goes by whole. It does. It does. That's why they always say that, look, all you got to do if you want to be wealthy is if you could ever get to the $4 million level, put it in a savings account paying 4% interest, you could live off of that interest the rest of your life and never never touch the principal. But I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to me. Kind of crazy to me, everybody. But what are we going to do but do what we're doing and keep doing what we're doing? Well, we've been on here for quite a while tonight, so why don't we start saying our goodbyes and wrapping this up. I'm going to spend some time with my dog. My Daisy dog seems to be walking slower now for some reason. She's been good all day. But we got to take her back to the vet tomorrow. So I'm going to give her another pain pill tonight. We got to take her back to the vet tomorrow. See if we can put her on some maintenance pain meds. Seeing that give her a little bit longer life. Yesterday I told you we thought she was going to die twice. So it's kind of like we live on death watch with our dogs now. But I'm going to get her squared away for a little bit. So, Dino, we appreciate you, Meme. We appreciate you, Craig. We appreciate you. Alexandria, we appreciate you. Hope the visit goes well. Boy, we do too. Good talking to you. Alexandria, we'll talk to you soon. We appreciate you. Everybody else in the background still hanging out. We appreciate that. All the thumbs up. We will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, there's the wife. Wife, we're saying goodbye. You can call me back in a couple of minutes. We're just getting off of here. So take care, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you all for your help, support. We'll talk about this, Brother David. Yes. Yes, we will. We will. Take care. See you guys tomorrow, my friends.